Marilyn Pauly has blazed a most distinguished path through the course of her career in banking. She began work in the financial services industry as a part-time clerk at Bank 4 while a student at Wichita State University. There, she earned a bachelor's degree in 1972. That year, there were 20 women, Marilyn included among the 298 WSU Business Administration graduates. In 2000, this wife, mother, and Shocker sports fan retired as president of Bank of America, Kansas, after 3 decades of accomplished work. Today, she serves as vice chairman of Commerce Bank, where she oversees credit administration and is involved in the bank's business development and community relations activities.
If you were to ask most anybody in the business community in Wichita for a successful businesswoman, Marilyn Pauly would be at the top of the list.
Marilyn brings a high degree of intelligence and sort of what I'd call an unparalleled work ethic to everything she does.
Marilyn did a great job of setting a good example for any person that worked for her in her work ethic, her integrity, her ability to make a difference.
One of 9 children who grew up on a farm near Conway Springs, Kansas, Marilyn gathered eggs, fed chickens, and milked cows, among other chores. While in high school, she worked at a grain elevator, also served as class president. She credits her interest in banking to a scholarship she received from a Conway Springs bank. From that spark, her career caught fire. After joining Bank 4, she steadily rose through the ranks and served as bank president from 1993 to 2000. She achieved many firsts during her tenure. For example, she became, at age of 24, the youngest woman in Bank 4 history to be named an officer.
I remember Marilyn telling me a story once about the time she was promoted to officer at the bank, which is a huge deal. It was a huge deal for all of us. And at that time, they would have a party up at the Petroleum Club for all the new officers, and it was probably in the late 60s, and women were not allowed in this particular part of the Petroleum Club. So she was sitting there, and one of the waitresses came up to her and said, "You're not supposed to be here." And Marilyn said, "I think I'll stay."
Marilyn Pauly is a Kansas girl through and through, born and raised in the country with a large family, married her high school sweetheart, Ken. I think what would surprise some people if they didn't know Marilyn's background, because she is such a classy executive, is that she grew up on a farm. But that's part of what makes Marilyn so special in who she is.
Her professionalism and executive sense of fair play were nationally noted. In the mid-1990s, Kansas Senator Bob Dole recommended her to serve on the President's Glass Ceiling Commission. Marilyn and 20 other women and minorities from across the country were then appointed by Congress to the commission and mandated to study discrimination in the workplace and what could be done to foster more diversity in higher positions. In addition to her many professional accomplishments, Marilyn has a rich history of commitment to civic and community activities. About her community involvement, Marilyn says simply, "I enjoy making a difference when I can." Currently, she serves as a member of the visionarying Wichita Steering Committee and on the boards of United Way of the Plains, the YMCA, the Catholic Care Center, and the Riverside Health Foundation.
Probably one story that I remember from my days at the bank, one of my jobs was the River Run, and it takes a huge number of volunteers to put on that event, and we always tried to find creative ways to involve executive management, to be one of the people, so to speak. And one year we decided to have them be hosts and hostesses early in the morning, starting at about 5 a.m., serving coffee and donuts to our volunteers out on the course. And Marilyn, of course, was very eager to participate. We got her a little pickup truck and we hooked her up on the corner of Topeka and Broadway, and she had coffee and donuts, and off she went on Topeka, headed north. Well, Topeka is a one-way street going south. Now at that time in the morning, it's a Saturday, it's downtown Wichita, there isn't any traffic, but there happened to be a police officer and he pulled her over. She tells the story maybe slightly differently than I do, but the one thing I remember is her saying that was one point in time where she did say, "Do you know who I am?" And so that of course makes us laugh every time we think about it, because Marilyn really isn't one to put on airs.
Marilyn has a terrific sense of humor. Sometimes it's at her own expense, but that's good because she knows who she is.
I was again given the opportunity for advancement when I was named as president of as Colin said, Bank 4 Wichita in 1993. And at the time, my daughter was a teenager, and I thought, you know, it's really not very cool if you're a teenager and have your mom in the news. So I thought in advance, rather than just have her hear it at school or from, you know, on the news that evening, that I would give her a little warning. And so I told her I was likely to be in the news in a few weeks, and she looked at me and her eyes just got huge, and she said, "Oh my gosh, did you steal the money?"
Through the years, she has also contributed time and talent to Exploration Place, the American Red Cross, Big Brothers Big Sisters, Heart Springs, Kansas 4-H Foundation, and to her alma mater. She has served on the Wichita State University Board of Trustees and currently is a member of the WSU Foundation Board of Directors. In 2000, she was honored as the recipient of the WSU President's Medal.
Marilyn, you have been a rising star ever since you first set foot on Wichita State's campus. Thank you for your countless hours of speaking to our students, of attending board meetings and committee meetings. Thank you for giving of your counsel, your wisdom, your knowledge. You have always worked to make life better for others.
Marilyn is very devoted to WSU. I mean, it shows in all the volunteer activities that she's still involved with here, her ongoing involvement in the university, and from my perspective, there really couldn't be a better recipient for the Alumni Achievement Award.
It is just a matter of, I suppose, luck that you get to work with people throughout your career. And she has been a true blessing in my life. I can't tell you the number of things she's done for me. And I think she deserves this as much as anyone.
For her trailblazing professional achievements, coupled with generous and heartfelt contributions to bettering our community, we applaud Marilyn Pauly as the recipient of the 2008 Wichita State University Alumni Achievement Award. Congratulations.